Hey everybody, Brian Tro coming to you from Mossy Creek Fly Fishing with your fly fishing forecast. The date today is Monday, April 3rd. So there's a lot to get to because it's springtime, and that means a lot of variety to our fishing, a lot of different species to cover, and a lot of different bugs to cover. So let's get right to it. We started off this morning with a cold winter-like 28 degrees here in the valley. So our last frost here in the Shenandoah Valley, for those of you who aren't from around here or don't know, is usually about the 10th of May. Okay, so it's pretty normal for us to have sub-freezing mornings all the way into well into next month. But what you also get this time of year is really nice big warm up. So for example, tomorrow it's going to be 78 degrees, which is going to feel really, really nice. And then also spring showers to keep our water levels up where we like them. It looks like we have a little bit of rain coming in Wednesday into Thursday, and then cooling off again as we head into the weekend. So anyway, that's what makes for great trout fishing. Okay, highs in the 70s, lows in the 30s or 40s. We're going to start moving the needle on those water temps and get it right into the trout's peak range, metabolism range, which is going to be somewhere from 55 to 65 degrees, depending on what type of fish and what stream they're in. But once we get to that temperature range, they're just going to feed. All right, and we won't have to chase these windows quite as much like we've been doing for this last several months. You know, that's the nice thing about spring is you get plenty of food and good temperatures for the fish from sun up to sundown. Okay, so as soon as we kind of move the needle a little bit there, should be good fishing all day long. So let's get to the bugs, okay? Because there's been a lot going on for the last month. We had a pretty mild winter, a very mild winter actually. So we've had a lot of bug activity. The fish have been looking up earlier and more frequently than they would be if we had a really, really cold winter and early spring. So you're still gonna see those midges. You're still gonna see those blooming olives. You're still gonna see those little black caddis that we've been fishing with for months here and there on the surface. So those bugs don't really go away, but what happens is we get more food and we get bigger food, okay? So if you've been eating spinach all winter and all of a sudden tenderloin floats by, you're probably gonna go for that and ignore the spinach, okay? So what we can look for in April, especially up on the freestone streams, is you're gonna start seeing bigger bugs like your Hendricksons. Hendricksons hatch here in Virginia in April. You're gonna start seeing your Cahills, light and dark, and fish a parachute, fish an upright wing. There's a lot of different versions. We have a lot of different variety of each of these bugs, you know, and then you can pay attention to their different state they're in. So we have the emergers, and we have the duns, and we have the spinners, okay? And can you still catch all these fish on nymphs? Absolutely. But we've been doing that for months and months now, and we're getting really, really good topwater bites for the most part. So it's time to focus on these bigger, more fun, easier to see, easier to float, easier to drift dry flies. Same thing with the caddis too. So we fish those little black, like 18s, like black caddis, and now there's a lot more variety. We've got olives and tan caddis fluttering around, and bigger ones as well. So size 14, you can see them easier, and when you can see your fly, you fish it better. Okay. You drift better, you present better, you set the hook better. All right, so fish something you can really see. I'll balance back and forth between the natural bug and a great attractor pattern. And that's the other thing, once these fish are really up and looking, attractors can work just as well, sometimes better too. So attractors like your humpies, your royal humpies, your limeades, your Mr. Rapidans, all of these flies are gonna be really, really important. So grab your gink, grab your floatant, and get out there and really start enjoying fishing up in the mountains for these brook trout. We have a couple of great months ahead of us, and it's just a lot of fun to fish for these trout in spring. All right, coming downhill a little bit, you've got all your delayed harvests that are stocked up and really, really fishing well. Remember, we've got 2 months now to enjoy those before they open up for harvest in the summertime. Where they get either cleaned out or the fish, you know, move on or die off pretty quickly. So 2 months to enjoy your delayed harvest streams, and they're a lot of fun this time of year. You've got a good mix of fish in there. You've got fish that were stocked in there all the way back in October, and they've definitely got a little bit higher IQ. They've had to make it through the winter. They've had to rely on natural food. And then you have some fish that were probably just stocked here in the last week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks that are still kind of figuring it out and finding their way. So get out and hit your favorite delayed harvest stream because you've got a couple months to really enjoy them. Same thing there, tractor patterns, nymphs when you need it, deeper water, bigger streams. Our delayed harvest streams are typically a little bit bigger. They're further downhill than our brook trout waters. And so if you're fishing a 10-foot deep pool and the fish are still stuck down on the bottom on a cold morning, you still got to throw those nymphs, okay? But more and more, they're looking up. All right, spring creeks. So spring creeks are a little bit different. As I've mentioned in earlier reports, we don't have as many freestone bugs in true spring creeks, ones that carry a large silt load and silt burden. So places like Mossy Creek don't have these big prolific hatches of Hendricksons and Cahills and caddis. They still exist. You'll still see some. You can still catch fish on one here and there. But the first big prolific hatch of the year on our spring creeks is going to happen this month, and that is the sulfurs, okay? And sometimes it happens a little bit earlier, you know, like second week in April. Sometimes it happens towards the end, okay? But for you fly tyers, you should be busy tying sulfurs, different shades of yellow, some with some orange mixed in, different sizes to represent the different sub variants. Little Dorotheas are going to be, you know, size 16, but you also need some big 14s and 12s, all right? And get ready to fish those. The spinner falls are really what we focus on. And so as soon as we see our first big sulfur hatches and spinner falls of the year, we'll try and catch some video and let everybody know about those. So something to be looking forward to on all of our spring creeks this month. Still fishing sculpin, still fishing big flies on days where the water's dirty, or days where it's overcast. You can still catch some on betas, the random caddis here and there. But for the most part, you're still fishing sculpins and small mayflies when you see the fish actually sipping them, or any of your nymphs. Okay, to the rivers. We're done muskie fishing for now. We'll let you all know when we get back on the water post spawn and start fishing for the muskie again. But the month of April is no good for the muskie in Virginia. They're busy doing their thing, and we'll let you all know kind of when we think roughly that's over with and you can get back after them. For the bass, most of the bass, and now it very much depends on which river you're on. The Shenandoah, for example, is much cooler than parts of the James, especially further downstream in central Virginia where we do a lot of fishing and guiding. So the windows for the spawn can be off sometimes by 1 or 2 or 3 weeks. And also remember that we have crazy weather through the spring sometimes. We have high water events, and the smallmouth are very resilient, and they have the ability to hold eggs. They have the ability to drop some eggs, and then if the spawn gets kind of nuked, to try and spawn again after the water levels come down. So we're always chasing this. It's a moving target. We can have them spawn on the 20th of April. We could have them spawn on the 20th of May, okay? So we want to be responsible. We want you to be responsible. We want you to get out and have fun and enjoy these warm water fisheries that are really starting to turn back on. The males are going to be out scouting for those good nesting sites. The bigger and the older the fish, the better they know the stream, and the better the spawning water that they'll find, okay? The hens they're producing egg right now, and so they're trying to eat. They're close by, but they're not going to be in those spawning sites just yet. And then we'll let you all know when the magic happens. But if you want to get out there and smallmouth fish right now, for your smallmouth, certainly for your largemouth too, on the Shenandoah, it can be a really good time to do it. You just really need to know the water to pay attention to, and you really need to make sure that you're getting down and that you're fishing it slowly for these fish, okay? So we'll have more on that as we go. Colby and the guys are always really good about bringing video and updates on the spawn and when they're actually spawning and when to leave them alone and what not to fish for and all those things. So people have a lot of questions about that. All right, one last thing before I go on the fishing report. Not this coming Saturday, but the following Saturday, which is I think the 15th. That is going to be our 20th anniversary, our open house, okay? So We have a lot planned. We have emails going out. We have massive giveaways. Okay, we're giving away free $1,000 fly rods. We're giving away all kinds of gear, swag, hats. We'll have free beer. We'll have free food. Okay, we'll have discounts and sales. We'll have a lot of vendors here. So a lot of our manufacturers we've been partnered with over the 20 years, the wulffs company, Sims, Smith Optics, Sage, Farbank, Fish Pond. All these folks are going to be coming down, and you're going to have access to all these great sales representatives and manufacturers. It's going to be an awesome day. Clubs come out. If you haven't been to one of our open houses, it's just a really fun fishing day. Okay, and we'll be putting the details out on that in our email going out today and tomorrow. So we hope to see all of you all here for our 20th anniversary celebration. All right, I'll see you all next week.